Hello aspirants, welcome to Insights IAS Daily Current Affairs for your UPSC exam preparation. In today's session, we have some very important topics for your prelims. We'll start by looking at the IPI and TAPI pipelines, then we'll discuss the strategic island of Diego Garcia. After that, we'll cover a key topic from Polity, the randomization of EVM-VVPATs. Then, we move to defense with the stealth frigate Taragiri, and we'll finish up with an important scheme from economy, the Credit Guarantee Scheme for Microfinance Institutions 2.0. Let us begin with the first topic. We have added a quiz at the end of every topic. Please attend it and test your knowledge. All the questions are designed in UPSC standard. Alright, so as you can see, our topics today are structured according to your GS syllabus. We'll be covering geopolitics, polity, security, and economy. This should help you organize your notes a bit better. So, our first section is on geopolitics and energy security. With the recent crisis in West Asia, India's energy security is back in the news. And that's why it's a good time to revisit some of these proposed international pipeline projects. Okay, so we're going to compare two very important proposed projects here. On one hand, you have the Iran-Pakistan-India pipeline, or IPI. On the other, the Turkmenistan-Afghanistan-Pakistan-India pipeline, which is TAPI. Now, these are quite different from each other. You'll see they have different routes, different sources for the gas, and even the international support for them is completely different. Alright, let's start with the IPI pipeline. What was it? Well, it was a proposed pipeline about 2,775 kilometers long. The idea was to bring natural gas all the way from Iran's South Pars field, which is a huge field, through Pakistan and into India. It even got the nickname Peace Pipeline because the hope was that it would build some economic ties in the region. The project conceptually originated in the 1990s and gained significant diplomatic momentum between 2004 and 2005. The main goal for India was pretty simple: get gas through a land-based route, which is much more cost-effective than importing LNG by ship. Now, let's look at the specifics. The pipeline was designed to supply 60 million standard cubic meters of gas per day to both India and Pakistan. This would have meant lower transit costs and better regional cooperation. But, and this is the key part aspirants, you need to know its current status. The project is basically dormant. India actually pulled out way back in 2007. And why did that happen? Well, there are three main reasons. First, there was pressure because of international sanctions on Iran, specifically related to CAATSA pressure. Second, there were disagreements over the price of the gas. And third, there are major security concerns, especially about the pipeline passing through Pakistan's Balochistan region. So with the IPI pipeline not moving forward, the focus shifted to another option, the TAPI pipeline. This one is a bit shorter, a proposed 1,814-kilometer project, and it has the backing of the Asian Development Bank. The whole point of TAPI is to bring natural gas from Central Asia down into South Asia. India officially signed the Intergovernmental Agreement in 2010, and for India, the strategy was clear: we need to diversify our energy sources and not be so heavily dependent on West Asia, which can be quite volatile. Just to give you an idea of the scale we're talking about with TAPI, look at this number. The projected annual capacity is 33 billion cubic meters. That's a huge amount of natural gas, which shows you just how big of an impact this project could have on the region's energy security. Okay, so where would the gas for TAPI come from? It's sourced from the Galkanish gas field in Turkmenistan. This is one of the biggest gas fields in the world, in fact. It taps into the world's second largest gas field. Now here's a major difference from IPI. TAPI actually had support from the United States. It was part of their new Silk Road strategy to help stabilize Afghanistan with transit fees. But even with that support, the current status of this project is also stalled. The Turkmenistan to Afghanistan section was inaugurated in October 2025, linking Serhetabad to Herat. But the really critical part, the part that goes through Pakistan and into India, well, that hasn't made any progress. So for your prelims, what should you remember here? The key differences are crucial. Remember the source fields, South Pars for IPI, Galkanish for TAPI. And remember, the international backing the US was against IPI but supported TAPI. These kinds of distinctions are perfect for making statement-based questions. Let us now cover this important development. This quote, a cornerstone of Western military power in the Indian Ocean, is talking about Diego Garcia. And it's been in the news recently because there was an Iranian ballistic missile attack targeting the joint UK-US military base there. This event really underlines just how strategic this small island is. So, what exactly is Diego Garcia? It's a tropical, footprint-shaped coral atoll right in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It's the largest and most strategically vital island in what's called the Chagos Archipelago. For your mapping practice, remember its location about 1,796 kilometers southwest of India's southern tip and 3,535 kilometers east of Tanzania. And of course, its main purpose today is hosting that critical military base, run by both the UK and the US. A quick look at its history is also useful. It was first discovered by Portuguese explorers in the early 16th century and was later used by the French for coconut plantations. Then, in 1814, after the Napoleonic Wars, it was transferred to the UK and administered from Mauritius. But the most controversial part of its history is more recent. Between 1968 and 1973, the UK forcibly removed the native Chagosian population to Mauritius and Seychelles so that the military base could be built. Now let's talk about its control and geology. This is important. Sovereignty over the entire Chagos archipelago is currently part of the British Indian Ocean Territory, or BIOT, though a 2025 treaty initiated the transfer of sovereignty to Mauritius. But, and this is the key point, the military base itself will still be under the operational control of the UK and the US. They have a 99-year lease signed in 2025 or 2026. Geologically, it's a classic coral atoll consisting of a rim of land surrounding a large, deep natural lagoon that provides a protected deep water harbor capable of docking massive naval vessels, including aircraft carriers and submarines. And because it's so remote, it's naturally secure. Also, remember that it's located on the Chagos-Laccadive Ridge, which is a vast underwater mountain range extending from the Lakshadweep Islands down to the southern Indian Ocean. So, why is it so strategically important? Well, because of its location, it acts as a launchpad for long-range bombers like the B-52 and for global surveillance operations across the Middle East and Indo-Pacific. From there, the US can project its military power across the Indian Ocean and keep watch over crucial sea lanes like the Strait of Hormuz, the Bab el-Mandeb, and the Malacca Strait. Okay, from a prelims point of view, two facts are absolutely essential here. First, the sovereignty issue with Mauritius and the British Indian Ocean Territory. Second, its geological location on the Chagos-Laccadive Ridge. Keep these 2 points in mind. This brings us to an important concept from Indian polity. Alright, our next topic is from Polity, the randomization of EVM-VVPATs. Why are we discussing this now? Because the Election Commission of India has just completed the first stage of this process across Assam, Kerala and Puducherry for the upcoming assembly elections in April 2026. So, this whole process is designed to answer a very fundamental question. Think about it in a huge election with thousands of polling stations. How do you make sure the EVMs and VVPATs are distributed without any bias? How do you prevent anyone from knowing beforehand which machine goes to which polling booth? The answer is randomization, and this randomization is not a single event. It's a two-stage process, and that's for extra security. In the first stage, machines that have passed the first level checking, or FLC, are randomly moved from the main district warehouse to a specific assembly constituency. Then, there's a second stage. This happens after the final list of contesting candidates is out. The machines are randomized again, but this time to assign them to a very specific polling station. This two-step approach is what makes the process so neutral and secure. Now let's look at the key features that make this process trustworthy. First, it's not done by hand. A special software called the EVM Management System, or EMS, does the allocation to make it mathematically random. Second, And this is very important for transparency. It all happens in the direct presence of representatives from recognized national and state political parties, conducted by the district election officer. Third, after the first round, all the machines are moved to assembly constituency-specific strong rooms, which are sealed and guarded 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And finally, the serial numbers of the randomized machines going to each constituency are shared transparently with political parties and candidates at every stage. So everything is out in the open. So, the whole purpose of this elaborate process is to remove any chance of human bias and to build public trust in our elections. For your prelims, please remember the two key things, that it's a two-stage process and the name of the software used, which is the EVM Management System or EMS. Moving ahead, we have an interesting topic from science and technology, specifically related to defense. Okay, let's now talk about the stealth frigate Taragiri. This is a big deal because it's set to be commissioned into the Indian Navy on April 3, 2026 at Visakhapatnam. This is a huge achievement for Aatmanirbhar Bharat in defense, and it's part of the Navy's Project 17A. So what is Taragiri? It is a stealth-guided missile frigate, designated F-41, designed for multi-dimensional naval warfare, including surface, air, and subsurface operations. It's the fifth ship in the Project 17A class, and you should remember who built it, Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited, or MDL, in Mumbai. Once it joins the fleet, it's going to be a big boost for the Navy's combat strength at sea. And look at this number. This really speaks volumes about our indigenous defense industry. Over 75% of the content in Taragiri is indigenous. This wasn't just done by one company. They sourced the equipment and systems from more than 200 MSMEs all over India. So, what can it do? Well, its main feature is stealth. Its design reduces its radar cross-section, or RCS, which simply means it's very hard for enemy radar to pick it up. It's a fairly large ship, displacing around 6,670 tons. For propulsion, it uses something called a CODOG system. CODOG stands for Combined Diesel or Gas. That means it can cruise efficiently on diesel engines, but when it needs a burst of speed for combat, it can switch to powerful gas turbines. It's also packed with advanced weapon systems, including supersonic anti-ship missiles, air defense missiles, and ASW systems, enabling effective engagement across surface, aerial, and underwater threats. Additionally, it features a combat management system that integrates sensors, weapons, and data networks into a single interface, allowing real-time situational awareness and faster decision-making during combat. So, adding Taragiri to the fleet is a really significant step. It greatly improves the Indian Navy's ability to project power in the Indian Ocean region and even further out. Let us now look at a topic from economy. And for our final topic today, we'll turn to economy and look at a government scheme. It's called the Credit Guarantee Scheme for Microfinance Institutions 2.0 or CGSMFI 2.0 for short. This has been launched by the Centre to give some much-needed support to the microfinance sector. And the scale of this scheme is quite large. The government has set a total guarantee limit of Rs 20,000 crore. What this means is that the government is essentially guaranteeing loans up to this amount. This encourages banks and other lenders referred to as member lending institutions to give more credit to the microfinance institutions. So how does this scheme actually work? Well, it's a credit guarantee framework. The central government gives a guarantee to member lending institutions. This guarantee covers them if the loans they give to NBFC MFIs go bad. So it's like a financial cushion for the banks, encouraging them to lend to microfinance bodies that might otherwise be considered high risk during periods of financial stress. And who manages all this? It's managed by the National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company Limited, the NCGTC. Remember, NCGTC works under the Department of Financial Services in the Ministry of Finance. Now, the guarantee isn't the same for everyone. It's a tiered system designed to give more help to smaller institutions. So for small MFIs, the government guarantees 80% of the defaulted amount. For medium ones, it's 75%. And for large MFIs, it's 70%. There are also interest rate caps built into the scheme. Loans from banks to MFIs are capped at EBLR or MCLR plus 2%, and when MFIs lend to the public, they must cap rates at 1% below their average lending rate of the past 6 months. There's a very low guarantee fee of just 0.50% per year, and the focus is squarely on small borrowers as defined by the RBI. Aspirants, this is a very important point for prelims, the timeline. This scheme is for a limited time only. It was launched in March 2026 and it's valid only until June 30th, 2026. Or if the Rs 20,000 crore limit gets used up before that date, then the scheme will end earlier. So it's whichever comes first. So, why is this scheme so significant? Because it helps the NBFC MFIs, and they are the ones who provide credit to people in the most remote rural and semi-urban areas where traditional bank branches are scarce. The government expects that about 36 lakh small borrowers will benefit from this, supporting self-employment, women's empowerment through self-help groups, and poverty alleviation. For your prelims exam, please focus on 3 things: the role of the NCGTC, those tiered guarantee percentages, and the exact end date of the scheme. These are critical facts. Just a quick tip for your note-making aspirants: you can file the pipeline and Diego Garcia topics under GS Paper 2, International Relations. The EVM topic also goes under GS Paper 2, but in Polity. Taragiri should be under GS Paper 3, Security. And this last scheme, CGSMFI 2.0, that's for GS Paper 3, Economy. For the full current affairs article and daily current affairs MCQs, visit insightsonindia.com through the link in the description. Also subscribe to our Insights IAS YouTube channel and join our official Telegram group using the link provided in the description for all free and important updates related to the UPSC exam. Thank you.